This is the Agenda podcast for Thursday, the 16th of March.
The Agenda, an alternative commentary collective podcast.
G'day there, welcome to the Agenda podcast. Myself, G Lane, and Matt Heath. And Matt, you're growing what I'm growing.
A moustache, yeah. I think we're taking it back from the sex offender, the moustache. It's got nothing to do with your behaviour.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, it used to be that a moustache was a respected upper lip growth that suggested like a traffic officer.
Yeah,
or a fire person.
Or a sportsman. Yeah. A great sportsman of the early 80s.
Yeah, so from now on I'm going to make moustaches compulsory for all people that can grow them in the ACC.
What happened? What happened to the moustache from it being revered so much during the 70s and 80s? What happened to it during the 90s? Why did it suddenly get associated with people who have trespass orders against them in schools?
Yeah, I don't know why that was. I know why the Charlie Chaplin went out of favour around the 30s and 40s.
Yeah, I could see that.
But I'm not sure why the math... Was it math teachers?
Could have been. PE. There was a few PE teachers too.
PE teachers, math teachers, and they just sort of, maybe they ruined it for everyone else. But look, it's coming back.
Oh, you suit one. You do suit one. I mean, it's in its infancy.
Yeah, it is.
I think it's probably in its first week. It's always the awkward phase of a moustache. It's someone like, did you miss shaving, or are you actually trying to grow a vag?
Yeah, I walked in and a head of promo came up to me and said, "What is that on your face?" And I thought, that's not a good start to my moustache growing. You know, they didn't fill me full of confidence.
No, it'll get better. Once it thickens out, you'll be fine. All right, let's get into the agenda. Rugby. So the Fijian Drua beat the Crusaders. The Crusaders are now, they've lost 2-1-1 so far in the Super Rugby season. But there was a great game to watch, purely for the delight of the fans, the Fijian fans on the stand. Like, it was just good to see passionate rugby fans.
And what's that tree growing there for? Like this, you've got like some stands and you've got some sort of grass embankments, and there's just a tree getting absolutely shaken to crap.
Some say that 1-year-old sapling is still shaking. I love that shot because it was panned across the what would have been the grass embankment. Everyone going apeshit, and then there's this poor little tree right in the middle of it, and someone is absolutely wringing its neck. It's like, it's so good.
Oh, that is so.
I don't know why I found that so funny, because it was on there for like a split second, and then it disappeared. But that was a great game. Like,
yeah, I mean,
shit, it looked hot.
That's what the tournament bloody needed, though, wasn't it? The
Totally.
Crusaders beaten by the Fijian Drua. That's what it bloody needed. It's fired it up.
How hot did the dog roll look on his 100th game? How hot was it looking in Fiji? It looked like they were drenched in sweat. It looked pretty punishing. And the dog roll played his 100th game, unfortunately not in great circumstances. His dad, Smiley Barrett, presented him with his 100th, Taiaha for your 100th Super Rugby game, but not a way you'd want to bring it up, the dog roll.
No. It's an interesting tournament, actually, because the Blues look pretty good, although they have lost in Australia. And the Highlanders look absolutely terrible. I was thinking about this, like franchises on their way up and way down. And like the Super Rugby is not really franchises. But you can't really just have someone that comes in and goes, I'm a huge, Forsyth Bar just comes in and injects, or some Russian billionaire comes in and buys the Highlanders and just injects some money, and suddenly they're buying the best rugby players. It's sort of like a communist dictatorship where they sort of get sprinkled around, and not much has been sprinkled the way of the Highlanders.
So are you suggesting we go into that full-blown buyout from a Russian billionaire? Because
I love it. Look at the Breakers. The Breakers are a proper organisation that are running as a business within the A-League.
Yeah, they've got some sugar daddies over in the US, which are funding it, which is great.
That's exactly, because there could be some Ivy League billionaires that grew up, at Harvard or any of those East Coast American schools where they play rugby. Chicago, there's a lot of rugby teams, and just wants to go, you know what, I'd love to own a rugby franchise in the greatest rugby place in the entire world, and they just pump some money into the franchises. How much would that? It would definitely change it.
And we can offer citizenship.
Yeah,
if you're a Russian on the run and you got a bit of cash, come and buy the Highlanders.
Let's drop the sanctions.
Yeah,
you could have someone like the billionaire that built SoFi Stadium for the Rams in LA. Like, you can sweep in, you promise a stadium, you promise a certain amount of commitment to the city you're in. and you just rip it up. Because I tell you what, someone could come in and buy the Blues and build a 10,000-seater stadium on the outer oval or something, so everything was sold out, and just inject business-type ideas into rugby in New Zealand.
Yeah, they're all good ideas. But hey, your beloved Highlanders, the real test this weekend, because they're going to come up against the Force.
Yeah.
So it's time, they've been brutalised by their own for a number of weeks. The Highlanders have been brutalised by the Chiefs. They've been brutalised by the Crusaders. So now it's time to go against the Dingoes. So that's going to be an interesting game. I think that one's on the Sunday. It is total carnage this weekend in terms of rugby, because we've got a game on Friday night, the ACC covering 7 p.m. Then there's 2 games on Saturday at 3:30 and at 7 p.m. And then another game at 3:30 on Sunday afternoon, which the ACC are covering, all on Sky Sport 9. So she's a chock-a-block weekend of rugby, but there's also league as well, and cricket. She's fucking busy.
Yep, she's busy, but that's so good. I felt like we had a period where we didn't have much sport in New Zealand, and now we've got sport up the wazoo. Oh, it's great.
It's up the walls. It's coming off the walls. It's dripping off the ceiling.
I'm excited about this new Champagne Rugby pod.
Yes. So Tony Lyle, the great New Zealander Tony Lyle, is now hosting the Champagne Rugby pod. It's the first episode went up yesterday, so give it a hoon. Jump on iHeartRadio, search Champagne Rugby pod, or just text Champagne to 3236 for the latest episode. Mania Stewart is guesting on that one. I think James McConey's on the next one. But
how did they wrangle Mania Stewart to be on an ACC pod?
I don't know. He's a busy man.
He's such a busy man.
He's a busy man. Hey, I've got the full schedule.
Man. Great to have him back at the ACC.
Absolutely. So Hurricanes, Friday night, it's Hurricanes Waratahs. I think myself and you are commentating that game, 7 p.m.
Hurricanes Waratahs.
And then at I think it's 4:30, on the Saturday, it's Chiefs versus the Rebels. And that's at 4:30, and that's myself and Matt Ward doing that one. And then the Blues versus Crusaders.
Woo!
It's a repeat of the final, 7 p.m. Saturday. McConey and Matt Ward are commentating that one. And then on Sunday, Highlanders versus the Western Force at 3:30 on Sunday. And that is the return of the Maddie and Mania.
Oh, Maddie and Mania.
The Matt Ward and Mania Stewart commentary that day, all on Sky Sport 9, and of course on iHeartRadio, free on iHeartRadio as well. So she's a busy weekend of Super Rugby. Cricket.
Yeah, so I've been thinking about this, and we were getting out our Black Cap supporters support group, and whilst there's no doubt there has been a lowering in the amount of superstars in the Black Caps, they're refusing to play into the narrative that it's all over and they're on a downward ebb.
Yeah.
That win against England, you will never get 2 test matches in a row that are that exciting again. Paul Stewart Ford said to me, we will follow test cricket for the rest of our lives, and we will probably never get 2 test finishes as exciting as that. I mean, the English one was a phenomenal.
Yes.
Phenomenal. I mean, never, only 4 times in history have people come back from the follow-on a team and won. Then the next game, last ball victory with a T20 run on a bye that went straight through to the keeper to win.
It was
after 5 days.
I can't deal with it. It's not sustainable for me as well, because you come away from those games, which we commentated, and you've got, it was like commentating that semi-final in the World Cup. You've got so much adrenaline, you can't go home.
No.
You can't go anywhere. I think I had about 6 beers in the studio to calm myself down. But there's a few little bits and pieces about this which I find interesting. Obviously, they ran the bye. I'd be interested to know if Neil Wagner had made his ground with the missed shy at the stumps for the keeper. So I was interested in that. And I'm also interested in the discussion between Neil Wagner and Blair Tickner. So Neil Wagner has a bulging disc in his back and a torn hamstring. And you're about to go out there, and your job out there is to run.
Yes.
That's pretty much your job. You're not going to hit the ball. You need to run. So you're looking at Blair Tickner, fit, healthy, and then you're looking at Wagner, who's got a bulging disc and a torn hamstring. And they send out Wagner. Well, he sent himself out. He probably would have said, no, fuck you, Tickner, I'm going out. Christ knows how much cortisone was in his body at that stage. But he dived at the end there. He potentially would have rooted himself. He did a full-length dive.
I would go Wagner every time, because he is there or thereabouts and he's a change maker. He's there or thereabouts. You know what I mean?
And he celebrated his 37th birthday.
Yeah. So he's like, if something crazy is going to happen, and they needed something crazy to happen, you want Neil Wagner involved.
Yeah.
He'll make something crazy happen. It is interesting, though. I've got a slight conspiracy theory that I don't believe in, and I can't believe I'm postulating it. But we now have Australia and India in the final of the Test Championship. Sri Lanka was still in the chase at that point if they'd won this game. Suddenly, the umpire starts calling wides that, in a T20 fashion, anything at all down leg is suddenly a wide. I believe he got a call through from Virat Kohli saying, you better start widing if start widing. Maybe it was a picture of Virat Kohli with the umpire's kids and going, I think there's some wides here. Well,
no, Chris Gaffney enforced one of these kind of obscure rules in cricket around negative bowling.
Yes, I get that.
Yeah.
But it was very close to the stumps, wides.
Yeah, I agree, and it was controversial. However, I don't know
if Virat Kohli sent a picture to Gaffney with his kids saying, just let's start calling some wides, buddy.
No, because I think India had covered their bases because the latest Test match against Australia, meanwhile the Black Caps won another thriller. Meanwhile, Australia and India are making everyone hate cricket because what they've done, all India needed from this Test match they're playing against Australia is a draw.
Right.
So they changed venues to a road.
Yeah, right.
So Australia score 400,000, then India come and score 500,000. All they needed was a draw from the Test match to qualify. Regardless if Sri Lanka had won both these Test matches, India's draw would have got them through.
And is that still played at Lord's?
No, it's playing at the Oval this year.
Again?
So no, the Oval is the other London venue on the other side.
Yeah, but the last Test Championship was played at the Oval as well, wasn't it?
No, it was played at Southampton.
Oh, that's right, Southampton. Yeah, sorry.
But, I mean, that's probably under
I'm thinking of the World Cup. No, some game was playing at the Oval that I didn't expect it to be.
I bet you that came from the BCCI. They don't want to play at Lord's.
No,
it seems around too much. Too much. We want to go. Can we go to a place that's got a little bit more turn? How about the Oval? Yeah, of course.
Well, I'm glad that my theory around the Virat Kohli ringing through to Gaffney and saying wide them has no validity. I'm glad because I would have hated to think something like that. And also, it's entirely impossible and a stupid thing to even say.
I know, but I love it how no one said anything about the Aussie-India game and playing it on a road so they can get a draw. Everyone's like, oh, no, it's just a good batting deck, you know. And the other pitches they have played on have been turning square and not even bouncing. So they're like, no, fuck, we don't need a result in this one. No.
I mean, that is corruption that is so corrupt. Obviously. So, you know.
No one says anything.
If you're that blatant about your corruption, how much quiet corruption are you up to? If you know what I mean? Like, if you're just willing to just go, we'll just have it on a road, change venues, have it on a road to get a draw, you know, what are you doing in back rooms?
Well, they allegedly prepare multiple pitches.
Right.
So, you know, there's a road next door to one that turns square, next to one that keeps low. And then they decide on the state of the series which one they're going to go for. So allegedly. This is all allegedly.
New Zealand has never done that. We have never sent a team.
No, we stick to weather conditions.
We've never sent a team to the University Oval just to freeze them out.
Yeah, in November.
We'd never do that.
No,
we'd never do anything like that.
Why would we do that? We want to show them a good time.
Yeah, we would never do something like that.
We'd send them to Napier or something and go to the vineyards.
Yeah.
Or something like that. We'd never send them to Dunedin. Don't be so stupid. But last Test match, Sri Lanka, begins Friday, 11 o'clock. ACC coverage on Spark Sport. And then straight after that, we're into 3 one-days and 3 T20s with Sri Lanka. And then that's all she wrote for the summer. She's all over from April 6th.
Yeah, I feel like we've done the summer in sort of a weird way. Like, we weren't doing it in summer. We've decided to play all our cricket not in summer.
In autumn.
Yeah, in autumn.
Yeah, it's been...
There's heaps of summer. Mind you, there was no summer.
No.
Anything that they wanted to play in Auckland would not have happened.
No, in January, I don't think I played anywhere. It was so shit house. So that's all go. I'm looking forward to that second test from the Basin Reserve. It's good to have it back at the Basin, but shame it's got nothing in Auckland at all except this one day and a 1 T20. So, there's cricket. Rugby league.
In Australia without rugby league is not Australia.
The Wars unfortunately went down to the Roosters. They were in it. They were in it, the Wars. God, I love how the Wars have given all the fans some sort of hope They're all like, oh, I've never seen a Warriors team so organised on defence, Matt.
Yeah.
Oh, they're so organised. Have you seen them complete their set of 6, mate?
Yeah.
Mate, I haven't seen a team. Oh, mate, this
Discipline.
Warriors team, mate. But this is what they do.
Yeah.
This is what they do. And they torment people like Di Henwood.
Yeah.
Poor bastard thinks that they're going to get in the top 8 this year. The poor bastard's booking flights to Australia. You know, he's holding out hope. And all they're going to do is crush his little soul.
Well, the ACC is booking baffling and soundproofing for our league studio because of the volume that Di Henwood, the levels of excitement he brings to league and the vocabulary, the understanding of the game. It's second to none.
He knows every single, like as you should, as a professional commentator, Matt Heath.
Yeah, right.
We should know all the names.
Yeah, I know every names of the Waratahs team that we're going to commentate.
But he knows
Friday night.
He knows every Warriors player and reserve player, but
and their families.
Yeah, and their families,
Wives' names.
Absolutely, grandchildren,
schools they played for,
and the opposition.
Yeah.
And the opposition, he knows every. It's uncanny. It's way too professional for them.
Most of them are on his phone texting him as well.
Yeah, that's true.
He's got a personal relationship with nearly everyone in the league.
So on Saturday, the Mad Monday commentary returns on Saturday 7:30. Sky Sport 6 they're on because we've got the rugby on at the same time on Sky Sport 9. So you just have to fart down a couple of channels to Sky Sport 6 with the Mad Monday team. And I think I'm not sure who's doing that, but have you checked out the Dolphins?
Yeah, great name. I'm a
Great name.
huge fan of the Miami Dolphins.
I can't understand. Like,
With Tui Tangavaloa.
can you, every time they say the word dolphin, and for me, you know, that campaign of that little thing that cleans pools?
Oh, yeah, the dolphin.
And every time they say that, I go, it's a dolphin.
Yeah, from they used to be on every ad break in the cricket.
Yes, and now all I can think, it's a dolphin. It's a dolphin. It's a dolphin.
Yeah.
So I think that should be the chant for Dolphins fans.
I've always think it's funny, Dolphins, because I don't see them as being, it's like the Miami Dolphins, and the Miami Dolphins have that sort of aqua blue outfit. Just doesn't seem as hardcore as, say, I don't know, the Rams or the Giants or the Cowboys.
Well, they're such a...
Yeah.
They're such a cute little mammal. That's what we've talked about.
Are they getting through a set of 6, a dolphin? And they don't even really, I mean, you know, are they good carriers of the ball, a dolphin?
They're too busy fucking around, kind of being nice and being all...
Yeah, they
all
are.
Flippery.
They are, I guess the league connection is that dolphins are terrible sex pests.
Oh, yeah.
And
that's true.
they get together and they'll do sort of Mad Monday type activities just as a species.
Yeah, most days.
Yeah.
Most days they get up to Mad Monday
They'll
behaviour.
do terrible things to a seal.
It's not... Yeah, but even like could have gone for the walruses or like something a bit more dangerous in the sea. Like
killer whales, the orcas.
The brown snakes.
The brown snake. The brownies would be good.
The brownies.
The brown snakes.
The brown snakes would be great. I mean, they're pretty deadly.
Yeah.
The funnels.
Yeah, that would be.
Well, they can't go the cane toads because that's obviously the Queensland team, the cane toads.
Yeah.
But
there you go. Bless.
Rugby League's back. ACC coverage 7:30 Saturday night. Sky Sports 6.
Breakers. But you know what? They were last season.
I know.
And they're second this season. So all you want from a professional sports team is to show improvement. And that's a lot of freaking improvement.
Shit, yeah. And it comes down to the new coach as well.
Yeah.
He was made a massive difference. Old Modi, he's changed that team, but hopefully they can hold on to some of their imports, the Barry Brown Juniors of the world and stuff like that. That's always the risk at the end of these seasons that, you know, they have these imports that come and go. But they really got shut out in that last quarter. They were up by 14 in the first quarter. Yeah, they came out of the block sensationally. And that crowd in Sydney, there was something like 14, 15,000 people in that crowd.
And it looked like they were going to have a good shooting percentage because they were getting things down early.
Yeah.
Because the Kings stop you. You can't take it to the paint with them. So, and the Breakers have been shooting pretty low percentages.
Terrible.
Although I've been ragging on Australia and New Zealand basketball with the low scores compared to NBA. But then I realised that we only play 10-minute quarters and the NBA's 12-minute quarters.
Oh, I didn't know.
So that's a whole extra 6 minutes of scoring that you get in the NBA. So, you know, that's why we sometimes have these games where we only score 69 points.
And also quite hard on defence, this league. It's a pretty physical league. But I just felt so bad because we came into the third quarter and I was like, most disappointed that Andrew Mulligan wasn't commentating for Sky, because all I wanted was another absolute scenes call. And all I had in my head goes, if he was there for the fourth quarter to call absolute scenes.
Instead you get some Australian weirdo going, and now the Kings sit on top of the throne once more. It's like, okay, they're called the Kings. Of course your stupid closing line would be sitting on top of a throne.
Yeah, fucking idiots.
Yeah.
Anyway.
It could have been, and tonight the king will be making love to his queen, or something like that. Just mix it up a little bit.
Yeah. Or if the Breakers had won. The Breakers snapped the king in half from behind.
Yeah.
Well, if they came from behind.
Yeah.
If they gave, but they didn't.
Yeah.
They were leading the whole game. They got overtaken.
But exciting, and
10.
I think hopefully people stay on the bandwagon. 9,500 people at Spark Arena. It's such a good experience at the Breakers that even a sort of mid-table year for the Breakers is a really exciting season. There's so much to see down at Spark Arena.
I love it. I took 13 10-year-olds with me to that game 4. It was next level. I haven't heard noise like that, because when you go to rugby games and you go to cricket matches, it's outdoors, so the sound disappears. Like, it disappears out either the roof, or if you're in especially places like Bay Oval and Hagley, there's no way of the sound getting trapped, so it always feels quite quiet.
Yeah.
But at Spark Arena, when he did that dunk, when Barry Brown did that breakaway and dunked, I have heard anything like it. My ears were ringing at the end of it, and I looked over at these 10-year-old boys who were absolutely jizzing their pants if they could. They looked like if they could jizz their pants, they would have jizzed their pants.
What do you think of Pardon when he scores? It's like, Pardon? You're like, what? Pardon? What?
Well, things with Pardon, he nailed his first 2 free throws, and then the guy next to me, and one of the other dads goes, shit, he's got off the line for a tall fella. And then he proceeded to fuck up every single one after that. And I went, that's on you, mate. If we lose, this is on you.
What about Abercrombie? Is he coming back? He's 97 years old, but looks like he's 19, so it's hard to get a reading on him.
Well, look, I'm sure he would have announced it after this game if he was retiring. I don't think he's going to retire. I think he's going to keep on going.
He's good. He's got that baby face that'll keep him going for a long time.
It's just the legs. He's got the full skins on the legs as well, because I'm unsure whether those legs are real.
No.
I think he's got a couple of prosthetics.
Well, he has been in a wheelchair for the last 2 years, so did he just get robotic legs added?
Yeah, pretty much. White on of the week. For me, it's probably the same for you, Matt Heath.
That Black Caps ending.
Black Caps ending. That last over.
Greatest.
Do you know what was underrated in that? And that is one of the greatest cut shots. There's 2 greatest cut shots in New Zealand cricket history. One, Daniel Vittori against Dale Steyn in the semi-final.
Was that a cut shot, or he just sort of chomped down on it? It was like more like a butcher sort of cutting up some meat.
He did.
He just chomped down, but fantastic, in such an annoying way to get a boundary in a semi-final.
And then Kane Williamson. Now, it was different. This test match was different, so those of you who didn't see it, we had to get a T20 score pretty much. I think we needed 100 and something off 15 overs. The difference between a T20 and this test match is the Sri Lankans could put all 9 fielders on the boundary, because there's no fielding restrictions, whereas in T20 you've got the fielding restrictions, so there's always gaps, so you can always hit 4s. The extraordinary thing about this test match was that you had a bowler and a keeper and 9 fielders around the boundary. Now, it is fucking difficult to pierce those fields. You've got to either go over them or perfectly dissect 2 fielders. And Kane Williamson in that last over absolutely drilled that cut shot right between the fielders, and that's up there with Vittori's chomp down in Eden Park.
I mean that is phenomenal to gap it in that regard. Just absolutely brilliant.
And the beauty, you know how they have the big high shot of the whole ground? You don't often see it in Test cricket when it looked like the field was empty. Because it showed it had a bowler. It almost looked like T1.
Yeah.
Because there was nothing, and then all the fielders are on the boundary. That's what made that victory.
It was silly, though, because if Kane Williamson doesn't have to worry about anything except for, choosing where he's going to hit his cut shot.
Yeah.
He's not worrying about being caught. He's not worrying about a bunch of stuff like that. He can hit along the ground.
Anywhere.
It was arguably you would, I don't know if I know where you'd put a fielder where he's worried playing late. You know what I mean?
Yeah. There's another thing in that whole double play at the end there, that full carnage, which we'll play in the Toppa plays of the week, is also Kane Williamson asking the question, because that second to last ball was a dodgy bouncer.
Yep.
Some say it could have been a wide, but the next delivery was also a bouncer over his shoulder, and he'd already been given that's your one bouncer. And you can see in the replay, you can see Kane Williamson on his knees after diving, looking up, going, hey, what about the second bouncer?
Yeah.
And at that moment, I thought, oh, fuck, he's not home. He's asking for the bouncer. I was like, he hasn't made it home. We're fucked. Oh, my God, no, we're not fucked. It was going to be a draw.
Yeah.
We didn't lose the game. This would have been a draw. But again, no one's asking questions about that bouncer because we won, I guess. But I suppose if we hadn't won,
we'd have been right into that bouncer. Yeah.
Righto, attendance required for you, Matt Heath, this upcoming week. There is so much.
To be fair, also as well, it was a crazy idea to bowl the bouncer.
I know,
because that gives you the opportunity to just scamper through on the bye. Wouldn't you put something right in? I guess they're thinking, this is their thinking, isn't it? It's like, A, it's a massive wide risk.
Yeah.
B, it gives a great opportunity to run through for the bye. But I guess they're thinking anything full, I don't know. It's actually a crazy idea.
That second to last ball was quite predictable. They were always going to take it down to the last ball. So that second to last ball was always going to be a bouncer.
Yeah.
And I can't believe that Kane Williamson didn't kind of predict that. I don't know, because they were always going to bring it down to just one ball.
Yeah.
But then to bowl another one, that's what Kane Williamson was like, fuck, he's bowled another one.
Yeah, it might have just been that he dragged it in. Like, might not. It's not always a carefully executed plan.
I must admit, though,
most high pressure situation.
The Sri Lankan pace bowlers, I think that's the best pace attack I've seen from Sri Lanka in a very, very long time. Yeah. They were, that Kesan Rajitha, the big diff on him. Fernando with a great diff.
Yeah, Fernando.
They're actually looking pretty good. So, look, I reckon it's going to be another tight test match coming up in Basin Reserve. It'll be a green top again. There'll be some movement early on. So, that'll be really interesting. So, that's probably attendance required is Friday. But then, of course, just keep it on, because Friday night, 7 o'clock, we've got Super Rugby. And then the next day at 4:30, we've got Super Rugby. 7 o'clock, Super Rugby.
If you've got one of those abilities like my TV has to have multiple screens going, just keep it going.
Yeah, well, you get your phone out as well and go for it. But there is so much going on this weekend. I think we just need to survive. I just need to get to Monday, and then I'll be good, I think. There's so much going on. But it's time to get into the
Toppa Plays of the Week. Brought to you by Leader NZ's Lasagna Toppa.
Right, number 3 on the Toppa Plays of the Week. The Indian Tennis Ball League continues to not surprise me. It continues to please me in its content that comes out of India, like the wristiness, some of the shots they play, some of the fielding is extraordinary. But this week it was topped off by this chap down at third man, chasing after a delivery at third man. He trips over, picks it up, trips over, throws it back, and then manages to, as he's kicking his foot up, volley it back over the boundary for 4.
It's quite something. So if he doesn't get anywhere near the ball on his first try, then he falls over, and then he throws it just at his own foot. It bounces over, and the look on his face of just abject humiliation.
Yeah.
I mean...
And the puff of dust that comes off his shoe as he hits it as well.
You couldn't write a comedy scene. Like if you were doing an animated movie with some comedy, I don't know, the equivalent of the Warner Brothers basketball movie, Space Jam. You couldn't animate a more comically stupid piece of fielding.
Yeah, you can see that on the ACC Instagram, the ACC NZ. Jump on there and have a look. It's quite something. But this is a good one. This is a good one, Matt Heath. Number 2 on the Toppa Plays of the Week. Now, this comes out of an Australian sports breakfast show who's affiliated to a New Zealand to SENZ. And this came out of Australia. And they spotted something around Ian Smith's research sources. Now, have a quick listen to this.
It's Zoe Hobbs. It's absolutely Zoe Hobbs. Fastest ever 100 metres in Australia, and they've had Olympic Games there, Smithy.
Yeah, absolutely staggering. I think it's been underreported so far anyway. We had a great clip on RedTube that you might want to play again this afternoon anyway. Thank you very much to Aroha. Thank you, not RedTube, no, the other one. It's not the one you're supposed to look at. YouTube. YouTube. Good God, what a way to finish the show.
Smitty!
And to you too, Logan.
There's
Stop
a-
laughing.
Of Zoe.
Laughing. It's called an old man's mistake. It's called senility.
It's called,
I've seen anything
cool.
on it.
it's called senility. There's something else.
It's called Top of Mind.
Yeah.
What have you been watching while double screening Zoe Hobbs, Smitty?
Yeah, so it is. He's thought Zoe Hobbs and beautiful woman. And then I think he's revealed a wish or there's something going on there from Schmitty and I mean, I don't know what RedTube is either.
Yeah, look, I think he may have meant YouPorn, maybe, instead of RedTube. Who knows? Who knows what
Schmitty.
was going through Schmitty's mind. But
So was that, how was that revealed to the world?
It was revealed to the world on SENZ, but picked up.
Oh, so his own people?
Yes, no, it was picked up by his own people in Australia because obviously you got SEN in Australia.
Yeah.
And the Sydney Breakfast Show, obviously maybe I either heard it or got sent
God,
it.
that is so good.
And so it was replayed again on Breakfast Radio over in Sydney. So
I mean,
Smitty's...
it's a pleasant thought, isn't it? Like, it's a beautiful image just to see Schmitty just perusing the sort of darker ends of the web.
I always wonder that because he's got some shocking videos of him on air. He does his show from what looks like his laundry. But there's some shocking videos of him looking dangerously distracted from what he's talking about, and now I know.
Yeah, we need to get a camera in that window because he's often in front of a window.
Yeah.
In fact, sometimes there's been some weird sort of apparatus just in the back of shot when I've been looking at it. It's like, what is that? It looks kind of like some calipers or something. What's going on there? He doesn't spend any time at all cleaning up the back of the shot. So there's a good chance that he'll put up a mirror at some point and won't think about it, and we'll see what he's actually looking about. But, he's such a professional that he could be on RedTube and still do really, really good coverage of sport.
Absolutely. So, number one, Toppa, play of the week. Has to be. Steady the ship and Neil Wagner running a bye in the first test against Sri Lanka off the last ball.
How good.
What can Williamson do here? The crowd of about 20. Get in behind Kane Williamson. Asita Fernando. Into Williamson. The final delivery of this test match. Oh, and they run. They run the bye. And there's a direct hit. They're going upstairs. They're celebrating, but
he's out. I think he's out.
No, he's not.
He thinks he's out too.
He's not out.
We have an umpire review.
Wow, could the third umpire act like he gives a shit?
And Williamson's asking again for the short ball and how that's not. Look at the dive. Get in there, Kane Williamson.
Game.
You are a little beauty. You are a little beauty, Kane Williamson.
Here we go.
Such a good point. The square leg umpire these days is so redundant that doesn't even think at any point he would be involved in a run-out decision. So that is not part of my remit. I'm not here to have anything to do with this.
Shit. But yeah, it was intense. But it was a shame. The crowd was terrible. I mean, look, admittedly, there is a piece of audio that doesn't need to be replayed, which you'll probably replay tomorrow. On Monday morning, last Monday, on the Matt and Jerry show on Radio Hodaki, you asked me, what's the chances of play today? And I went, 0. It's pissing with rain. There's going to be no play. Don't bother tuning in. And then what do you know? It turned out to be one of the most exciting test matches ever.
The greatest day 5, arguably, in the history of test cricket.
So I take that back. I'll take that back. I won't be so outlandish going forward in my updates.
So bullish with your weather predictions.
Yeah, who knew? Well, I did get some inside intel from
I tell you
some
what,
people.
We've got a test match in Wellington coming up, and it is, by my estimates, the 17th of March when that goes down. So a test match in Wellington starting on the 17th of March.
Have you seen the forecast?
Let's not get bullish on it, but I don't think there's ever been 5 days in mid-March in a row in Wellington without some kind of weather event.
When do you go to Wellington? When? Oh, they had a good summer. They've had not a bad summer.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it goes.
Okay.
Hopefully.
Okay.
I'm hopeful.
All right.
Bye.
Okay. See you later. You seem busy. We'll let you go.
You've been listening to the ACC's Agenda podcast. For more episodes, subscribe on iHeartRadio or wherever you get your podcasts.